Welcome to Real Estate Secrets Unlocked, the podcast that takes you inside the minds of the industry's top professionals, revealing their top secrets to success. I'm your host, Danielle Damiano. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, get ready to learn the latest trends, strategies, and secrets that will help you succeed. Join us as we go beyond the basics and explore what it takes to make it in the world of real estate. So buckle up and get ready for a wild ride. This is Real Estate Secrets Unlocked. Hey everybody, it's Danielle Damiano and I am here today with Matt and Samantha Wallace. They are with the Remax Heart to Home team out of Memphis, Tennessee. So Memphis, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on. I'm really excited for everyone to hear your story and for you guys to share, your story with everybody. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, did both of you get started in the business together, or did one of you get started and then the other one kind of followed suit?
Here we go. Okay. So I got started as a single agent in 2016. Before that, I was a teacher and football coach for 20 years. I decided it was time for a career change, and I really wanted to flip houses. That's how all of this got started. Is I had a goal. I wanted to renovate houses, so I thought, hey, what a better way to do that than get your real estate license? So I was fortunate enough to get on with a real estate company that was big in training. So 2016, I started as a solo agent, and my first experience with showing houses was I showed an older lady about 56 condos that were all in the range of $50,000 to $60,000. I think I spent a month of weekends just driving around looking at, and that's when I decided I needed to start listening and focus on listings. Listings were going to be the way to go. So basically, I joined Keller Williams, went through their training. I read the $1 Million Real Estate Agent, locked in, tried to follow the model the best that I possibly could, only focusing on getting listings. And I put my head down, went to work for about a year and a half, and I got busy enough to the point where I had to hire an admin to help relieve some of the stress load. And the looking back on it, the craziest thing I was doing was I was throwing buyer leads away. I was After that experience, I was not having anything to do with the buyer.
I've been
It
there.
was too much time, so I could literally lock myself in the office, make cold calls all day, then go on the listing appointments I got from those calls and manage everything from the office. So about a year and a half into it, one of my coaches said, "Hey, when are you going to start doing something with those buyer leads?" And I was, it just kind of caught me by surprise. And at the time, Samantha she was a special education teacher. And I said, "Hey, have you ever thought about getting in real estate? I think you could do really, really well." And she was crazy enough to walk away from teaching and join me in the real estate journey. And I was able to pass all those buyers along to her. And, here we are 6, 7 years later, and we built a strong team off of it.
I love it. So you got started prospecting, which is where I got started too. And a lot of times, when I talk to the newer agents and I let them know, listen, this is what you have to do to get business. If you don't have the money to buy the business and no one knows you, you have to hit the phones and hit the pavement. So who did you, and I love Gary Keller, by the way, I've read a lot of his books. Who did you start calling?
So I started with expireds. The first thing I did, and my journey's not been pretty by any stretch of the imagination. I think I put I can't remember if it was Vortex or Vulcan expireds. I put it on a credit card. I maxed out my credit cards basically to buy expired and for sale by owner numbers and circle prospecting lists. So I literally maxed everything out to get those lists to start calling every day. But I started time blocking, and I had an hour and a half where I called expireds, hour and a half for FISBOs, another hour and a half where I did circle prospecting. So I was able to incorporate all of those into my daily work schedule by time blocking. But that's how I got started, was no Zillow, no buying leads, no nothing, just the tools, the dialer to make your own leads is how I was taught when I first got into it. Of course, that's what the book, The $1 Million Real Estate Agent, teaches you. So I tried to follow the model and follow the plan, and so far it's worked out.
I love it. And so you really had to build, I'm sure, your business, because as you just mentioned, you maxed out your credit card to get the Vulcan leads, which is what a lot of people do. But a lot of times, where you were married, right, when you asked her if she wanted to come into it?
Nope.
Oh, are you married now?
Yes.
We are.
Oh, okay.
That was a point of contention with my parents. My parents were like, we paid for your college education and you're going to walk away from it and do real estate with somebody you're not married to? Yeah, Mom.
Oh, so you were a couple.
We were.
Couple.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of times I'll talk to couples that are real estate agents on the same team. And so one of them wants to jump ship and like join the team, but they can't because they don't have enough income. You know what I mean? So like
Sure.
that one person has to keep the job, keep the W-2, keep the money coming in, while the other one is able to really go all in into real estate until they're making enough to be able to combine efforts. And so I just trying to figure out that dynamic there.
Yep. Dating couple. Now we're happily married with 2 kids and a growing team. So it worked out.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you then, so you thought your thought process was to bring her on as a buyer agent and then basically handle all of the buyers that you're throwing away, or, you know, maybe sit your open houses, different things like that.
Correct. Yeah. I was literally, like friends that I'd made in the office, I'd see it at the lunch and learns or whatever and be like, oh, hey, you want a buyer? And I literally was just giving the buyer leads away to other people in the office. And like I said, I finally had a coach to go, what are you doing? And at the time I was doing what I was thought I had to do, and probably the right thing to do after showing 60 houses to somebody for a $1,500 check. So, at the end of the day, my leads were getting thrown away. And I knew if I had somebody to work it, that we could explode our business over the course of time, especially somebody that I knew would take care of customers and treat customers the way that I treat people and want people to be treated. That was a huge for me, is that, I'm very protective of my customers and my clients, that become friends, and I wanted somebody beside me that would treat them the same way.
It was
Absolutely.
a pretty natural progression. When I came on, I started working his listings as open houses. I started taking all of the sign calls, and I was able to get the buy side of his listings about 20 to 25% of the time. So, it benefited both of us for me to be working just the buyers and him to be working just the listings.
Absolutely. So tell me about your experience coming on as a buyer's agent. Did it take you a little bit to kind of like ramp up, or how was that?
Absolutely. So I was coming from the teaching world. So I was like, I don't know how to make a phone call to somebody that I've never met and ask them if they want to go see this house that they clicked on. And Matt was like, you've been watching me for the last year. You just do it. So that's what I did. I just did it. Everybody that called on the sign, I just kept calling them. Everybody that showed up at the open house, I just kept calling them. And somebody said yes, hey, yeah, I want to put an offer on that house. So it kind of went from there. As my confidence built, it was easier and easier for me to follow up with those people. And sometimes I'd follow up with people from the open house that turned into listings. They were neighbors. So I think that we worked really well together in that aspect.
Yeah.
We were able to kind of convert back and forth, and it worked.
And I think teachers a lot of times honestly make the best real estate agents because, education is huge, educating your clients, and then also patience. You have to have a lot of patience. Even working with a seller, you do have to have a lot of patience in this business. So now tell me what your team dynamic looks like now, because it's obviously evolved a lot over the years.
So right now we've got about 10 agents on our team. We're pretty small, relatively small when you consider a team. I am the team leader and the broker. We've got our own little storefront office. That's like a Remax team office branch. So I'm the broker of that and also the team leader, like I said. Matt has stepped back a little bit. He still does listings and flipping houses and stuff like that, but I'm doing the day-to-day operations with the team. We've got an inside sales agent that's in the office every day for 8 hours, now calling the expireds and the FISBOs and doing the circle prospecting. We've got a showing agent that helps out, if I'm not available or if one of the other buyer's agents is out of town, and we've got about 5 buyer's agents. So we've got a good little operation going.
Yeah, so 5 buyer's agents in ISA, which is awesome. A lot of people outsource the ISA. What has been your thought process on that? Or, is that something you've considered, or really like having that in-house person?
We've talked about it, but I don't think you can get the same connection, and I don't think you're going to get the same success rate. Especially, that's just my opinion. But now you've got so many outsourced with not only real estate agents calling, but also we buy houses cash and cash buyers, that people are getting bombarded
Yeah.
by those things. And I hear people all the time talk about the horror stories of people yelling and cussing at them and things like that with the cold calls. But cold calls were, I don't want to say they were natural for me, but I really enjoyed it, because I guess you hear this voice on the phone, this, like, I always get, "Hey, are you from Texas?" Every time I talk, you got this Southern voice where people know, hey, I'm not from out of the country. I'm here from the United States, and I sound like a good old country boy or whatever. So I think immediately people put their guard down a little bit when they heard my voice and the things that I ask on the phone, rather than somebody that's just reading a script and trying to get through as many numbers as they possibly can. My goal with the cold calls is exactly what we teach our ISA, is it's about a connection. Is as much as it is anything at all, it's about being able to connect one-on-one with that person. And it's not about rolling through as many numbers as you can. Yes, I know it is a numbers game when you cold call, but people are not numbers. These are real people that need real help, that are expired and they're FISBO'd for a reason, because they don't really know what they're doing, and they're reaching out for help whether they know it or not. So we want to treat people like that. That's something I don't think you can get from an outsource.
You can't get a local expert like that. I mean, our ISA is great. She was born and raised here. She knows everything there is to know about, the places, the people. So I think that people connect with her on that level too.
100%. One of the things that I heard you say, Matt, that I was like, is you actually liked cold calling. And a lot of people, especially newer agents, I can tell you, when I started cold calling in the beginning, my broker would go around, drop the expired listings off. They weren't in Vulcan at that time, and on everybody's desk. And we were all in the office calling the same people at the same time, using the same scripts. But I definitely did not love cold calling. I was like, and then in the beginning it was about contacts, and I was like, oh, they hung up on me. Is that a contact? Like, trying to figure, all of that out. But it did get fun, and it did start to become fun, and it was almost like a game, and like you played in, like, and I loved helping all of the clients, but like,
Sure.
you have so many people calling them and you get that appointment, it's like this rush. I can't explain it.
It is, and I've got a lot of people that I see all the time that kind of, I don't want to say trash. Yeah, they trash cold calling. I'll just go ahead and say it. They talk about how bad about cold calling, but I can honestly attest that one of the agents in my office right now is a cold call, that became a client from expired with 3 different other agents, and we became friends, and now she works with us in our office and does a great job as a buyer's agent. One of the other cold calls that we've had are people that we've become friends with, that we go out to dinner with once or twice a month. The people that saying that cold calling is dead, I believe people have a closed mind, and don't realize the possibilities that are out there. If you're doing it with the intent of rolling through numbers, yeah, maybe I can understand that. But when you're trying to create relationships from people, I think it brings a whole nother aspect to it.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, all of my clients, I was expireds and FISBOs as well. And all of my clients, we became friends. I'm still friends with them on Facebook. I might have sold their home like 10 years ago. And, so tell me, you have 5 buyers agents, you have an ISA. Matt, are you doing mainly listings, or who's doing the listings?
So our ISA, she does dual role. She does ISA and she does listings from her
Okay.
leads that she gets. I do. So I've kind of stepped back a little bit, and the reason is because we've got a separate division where we renovate about 30 houses a year.
Wow.
So I've been in charge of the renovation part of that business. I've been able to get a COO to kind of handle the operations of that. I still list those houses that we renovate as that team, but I've also recently got my general contractor's license for residential and commercial. So we actually have a new ancillary construction business that we're doing for all residential, renovating kitchens and bathrooms for other people. So I'm trying to launch that part of our business right now. So, but I'm still doing the listings for the renovations, and the team handles everything else.
Love it. And I love that. I mean, you're basically, taking a business you were investing in the beginning, right? And I'm sure you
Right.
still are, right? Are a
Sure.
lot of the
Absolutely.
flips your own properties? Are they flipping or are you buying the hold?
So we do a little bit of all of it. We've got 12 single family rentals. We got one VRBO right now. We've got about 30 that we're doing flips on that are ours, and we do it through hard money, and some of it is our hard money. So we've got actually got a little pool of money that we have that we loan hard money with. Some of it's our own money, but up until now, we've only been doing renovations on our own houses that we own. So once I was able to get my gen contractor's license, now that opens up a whole new world for clients that want a kitchen done or a bathroom done or something like that that has to be licensed to do. So it's just created, like you said, a whole nother ancillary business off of it.
I'm just like thinking in my mind, like think about in 7 years, the growth that you've had from teacher to where you're at right now. Like that's crazy, right?
Right.
So
Right.
like what would you say the biggest contributing factors were to such, huge growth?
Consistency. Every single day being in the office, like if we were clocking in at school,
Yeah.
following our schedule like we followed a bell schedule for so many years. We had our expired from 8 to 9, our FISBOs from 9 to 10, like first period, second period, third period. Just staying consistent with the activity. Your production is going to be consistent year over year. You're going to be consistent. You're going to continue to grow, and as you grow, you're going to need help. I mean, it's just natural, right?
Yeah.
Consistency.
So
And,
then
and you said something earlier that I 100% agree with. You said teachers make good real estate agents, and I agree for a different set of reasons because Gary Keller has a bold law he talked about. It's not about selling real estate; it's about following a schedule. So teachers know how to follow a schedule. For 20 years, I knew I had a bathroom break at 9:05 every morning. I knew I had 11 to 11:15 to eat my lunch before I had to go to cafeteria duty. You literally know every second of the day is accounted for when you're a teacher. So that's one of the things that, as Sam said, I felt like was a contributor to our success. And still, I mean, we've obviously still got work to do, but when you can map out your day and you have a plan to account for every second, it doesn't allow for a whole lot of wasted time.
100%. And so a lot of times when I talk to the agents, especially the newer ones that are just coming in, that their biggest problem is they don't know what to do. And so like being your own boss can be so freeing and such a curse at the same time, because if you're not strict with yourself, nobody else is going to be strict with you. And so the schedule and your daily success plan, and that's what I map out for them, is your morning has to be so super tight. And when I sold real estate, my morning was so tight to the point where I know when my role play was. I hopped on the phones every single day. The expireds were first, the for sale by owners were second, the just listed, just sold were third, the lead follow-up was fourth. My listing presentations were at 2 and 4. That was it. So, everything was so scheduled. And they have the hardest time trying to come up with that schedule. So can you tell me a couple of key things that are in your schedule that like have to get done every single day?
You want to go ahead?
And they might be different for both of you.
Well, mine really has changed, a lot. And of course, you throw family and you throw a 4-year-old and a 15-month-old in, so that changes a whole lot. Um, but I've really gotten on a self and betterment kick, I guess to say for better. What I found myself was getting in a rut because I was not allowing for enough me time. So I've started the 4:30 a.m. club where I get up and I do. Um, Basically I do some prayer time, some meditation time, some reading time, some reflection times, and then I do some exercise, even if it's just walking, a couple miles in the morning. Um, that really helps me get going before anybody else gets around. That is I found it's a daily must for me now at the current place where I am with kids and life and businesses and growth and trying to do everything that we do. Um, from there, uh, you know, I take my boys to school every morning that and pick them up from school. That's a priority to me. You know, my office can wait. They know I'm not going to get in the office until 8:15 after I drop off the boys. But we have a staff meeting after that between 8:15 and 8:30. That's with my Moss Properties Group, our renovation company. And then at 9:05 we have a team phone call every morning, and then basically from there everybody goes to doing their duties and their assignments. Um, right now for me it's been a little bit different because um, I've got our property division going and me starting the new business. I'm trying not to, I guess, cross the streams in that sense. So right now I'm everything for Sam's Construction. I'm invoicing, I'm billing, I'm quoting, I'm project management. So I'm doing everything that with the saying, if you don't have a janitor, you are the janitor until you can hire one out. So I'm going through that building process all over again with Sam. So my schedule is pretty crazy doing that. I'm trying to check on projects in the morning, do billing in the afternoon, and then be able to pick the kids up by 5 in the afternoon and then shut it down for family time until 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
And that miracle morning is huge. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it might come from Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning, or there's other similar. But that's it's so important to have that miracle morning because that is you time. That's your time. And so it really sets the day for, everything else that you have going on. So what about you, Samantha? What does your morning schedule look like? Like your must-dos?
So we have a 15-month-old. So for a while there, we were having many night wakings. So I was not having a good morning routine, not consistent. But the last couple of weeks, I've really been trying to get back on board with it. He's sleeping through the night. So I get up at 5. I can't do the 4:30. I can't do it yet. Maybe I'll get there. But I'm getting up at 5. Also doing my devotional time, and we're separate. He's downstairs. I'm upstairs. We're doing our own thing. I do that devotional time. I do a little bit of reading also, and then I do my exercise usually like in the boys' playroom. Sometimes I get interrupted by the 4-year-old. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I've got a 15-month-old on my back while I'm doing some stuff. But I try to stay as consistent as I can with it. And then from there, obviously, I've got the mom duties, breakfast, lunches, packing bags, getting them dressed, getting them in the car. And then once he leaves to take them to school is when I get ready, get to the office. And, the 9:05 phone call is a priority for us, for our team. We're hearing what their numbers were from the day before, how many appointments they set, if they've written any offers, if they've got any closings, stuff like that. Some quick objection handling, and then we're off the phone and we're into lead gen for the next 3 to 4 hours.
I love that. So you have your quick team meeting every morning, 9:05, and you're going over their numbers, how many calls they've made, appointments set, listings, all of that stuff, and then having some sort of objective or goal for that day.
Yeah. So we do like maybe a little motivational phrase or something, or, let's call all of the A's. We're recently doing the DT, do the database where you do like A and W for the week, or B and E for the week. So we'll go over like what letters we're doing for that week, and hey, why don't you text all of your A's today, or why don't you call all of your A's today? Call everybody that didn't answer the phone last week. Some kind of task so that they have some guidance to start, because once you start, it's a little bit easier to keep going.
Absolutely. It's like it's the hardest part is those first couple of calls. And then after that, it's like, okay, I'm in the group. And that's why I tell some people, some people have a hard time. If you're calling expireds, it's different. If you're calling expireds, you have to be on the phone every single morning. If you're not calling expireds and you're calling other sources, maybe you have a phone prospecting blitz day, a Money Monday, or a terrific Tuesday where it's your day you bang out, 5 hours of calls or whatever it may be. So that way the rest of the week doesn't have to be, so call heavy. So what are you using? Because we all know that we have to mix active and passive prospecting to really grow and scale a business. So what are some of the other strategies that you're using, not only, phone calls and active prospecting?
So we've got our past clients in our sphere, obviously, that we try to work pretty hard. We've got a past client Facebook page. We do quarterly events, newsletters that go out quarterly, touching them as much as possible because leads are down right now. Like leads that you're buying, pay-per-clicks, all that stuff is down. So we really got to tap into that. So we're doing a lot of that. We're doing a lot of, well, I guess door knocking is active.
Yeah.
I love
Giveaways.
I love the Facebook page though. That's awesome. So you have your past clients Facebook page, and that's really, like, if you think about it, one way that you can consistently touch them, obviously if they're on Facebook, but give them little, educational updates, like maybe, okay, it's tax time coming up. If you closed a loan with us in the past year, send me a DM and I'll have my assistant send you your settlement statement, or whatever the case may be. So being able to kind of educate them throughout the entire year, and the more you touch them in that Facebook group, the better it is. Another idea I was just thinking about is if you have your past clients in there, you could always invite them to invite a friend, maybe, so that you're kind of touching other people that are in their sphere as well. But that's awesome. I love that idea. It's a really good idea.
Yeah, we like that. We've got a giveaway going right now for Valentine's Day, a nice little restaurant gift card. So we get a lot of activity through that. I guess other thing, everybody's doing social media on our team. We really push that because that's takes a couple of minutes every day, easy way to get yourself out there for people to know that you're in real estate, associate your face with real estate. And I feel like that's pretty passive. What else are we doing? I think that's mostly, that's probably mostly it. Really tapping into that social media and marketing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the things that you would suggest to any newer agents that might just be starting out, like getting into it? What are some of the activities that you would tell them to do?
Call the damn leads.
Ruby Wilson was on this morning with me, and he wore the hat, call the damn leads. So.
Druby, I threw that in there for Druby.
Yeah.
But it couldn't be more true. I mean, that's what you do, the activity. If you're struggling to be around, if you're struggling to do the activity, go be around people that are doing the activity. We've got some great agents in our office, and the ones that are working, they feed off of each other. When you're struggling, you need to get in there, and a lot of people honestly get into this business for the free time, or the downtime, or I can set my own schedule. The tremendous difference between those that set their own schedule and those that come into the office every day is just a tremendous difference. Those that stay on the schedule are producing 10 times what people that make their own schedule do. So find you a mentor, find you a coaching group, find you, I know it's very cliche to say it, but it's the truth. Find you a group that makes you want to do better. When I changed my circle of people that I was around all the time, my whole mind opened up to bigger and better things. So I think that's kind of why joining a team early is a good thing, because there are some benefits to being around others, seeing the hustle, seeing what it takes, and learning the business. If you're not willing to put yourself out there doing the work of calling and stuff right away, join a team, get around some people that are doing it.
Absolutely. And I love how you said changing your circle really changed your mind and your outlook, because it's so important to be around other people that are not only doing what you're doing, but that are actually doing a lot more than you, because it makes you want to be, that person. Any ideas or any advice that you would give when working with your spouse? Because I work with my spouse too, like on different levels. We've both been in real estate and mortgage since 2001. So, we have our roles and stuff like that. It's great because you really can talk the talk, right? Some of the challenges that we have is that we're always talking the talk. Like it becomes hard, when it's like business a lot. So what do you have, any advice for being a couple in the same business?
He's looking at me because he does that all the time. Like after dinner, he'll try to ask me about a contract or something that's going on. I'm like, you can ask me at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
I love that.
So I really have to kind of keep him on his toes. We try to keep it separate. We have a dedicated date night every week. Morning times, we try not to talk about it because our boys, they're active, they're playing, we're interacting with them. But when we get to the office, it's all business all day. And sometimes it overflows when we get home, but at dinner, we don't talk business, we don't talk shop. After dinner, when we're doing our bedtime routine, we try not to. And sometimes it happens when we're in bed, he'll have like one last thought before we go to sleep. And I'm like, just write it down. Like, or just text me and I'll look at it in the morning. But I think having those boundaries is good. And I know that he has made a tremendous effort in the last several months to make that date night consistent and a priority, even on nights when I'm just like, I'm tired. He's like, we have to do this. And he's right, and I'm glad that we do it.
I love that.
I can tell you what not to do.
Okay.
What not to do. Do not try to coach your spouse.
Yes.
100%. You can inspire, but you cannot motivate. So, we're all on a different journeys and different places in thought processes in lives. And I know you want to connect sometimes with your spouse and I want to with mine about some things, but it's sometimes, I think I made that mistake trying to push a little bit too early, before she's ready. Everybody's on their own time. And my job is to support her, not coach her. If she asks, I'll be happy to help any way that I possibly can. But, she's got her hands full running her business, and I'm trying my best to expand our side of it. So that would be my advice not to do, is to don't try to coach your spouse.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. Like, I really appreciate it. You dropped a ton of knowledge. And so anybody watching, I'm sure they're going to get a lot out of it. Is there any last minute things that you want to say? Or I think you guys covered basically it all, like your team in a nutshell and how you started and where you're at today. So
I think just going back to the consistency, just be consistent in everything you do and do what you say you're going to do.
100% integrity. Absolutely.
And I would just add this, I don't know if you can put links or whatever in there, but we are an open book. One of the things I know we have in common is we're here to serve. We want to help anybody. Anybody's got any questions or anything we can do, we'll be happy to talk, give our time, whatever we can do to help somebody. That's how we want to approach our life. So if anybody has any questions, we can do anything to help anybody, please reach out at any time and we'll do anything we possibly can do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, all of your information is going to be in the video, so they'll definitely be able to reach out. Tons of knowledge here. I love having a husband and wife team because that's what my husband and I have been for a long time. And I love, just seeing the different dynamics and how you guys support each other. So that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I loved it and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Real Estate Secrets Unlocked. Don't forget to subscribe to our show on your favorite platform, and we would love your feedback. Check us out on social and let me know what topics you want more of. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and our show. I'm your host, Danielle Damianov, and until next time, stay motivated, stay excited, and keep growing in this crazy world of real estate. Thanks for listening to Real Estate Secrets Unlocked.